Oh, I didn't on my mic. I've been talking by myself. Okay, I hope now you can hear me. Everyone say hi and no one says they can't hear me. All right. Okay, let me just go back. Good. All right. Let me go back. Now can you all hear me? I forgot to on my mic. Hi. Okay. Yeah, hi Harshini. Sorry for the mic problem. This is what happens when you're doing streaming all by yourself. I have no one helping. Yes, okay. Thank you. All right, so let me start. Now all of you can hear me. Hi, hi. All right. So I'm just going to repeat. I know you saw the slides, but I'm just going to repeat. There are, for UASA, you have two, paper provided by Lembaga, which is 12/1, that's the code, regardless whether you're from 1, 2, or 3, that's the code. Reading and use of English for 12/1. 12/2 is writing. All right. Now, 12, the minutes that you have is 1 hour and 30 minutes for reading. In the old previous PT3 paper is 1 hour 15 minutes. There's a reason for the extra 15 minutes. Please do not use all the 1 hour 30 minutes to to complete your paper, because you have to do something at the end of the paper, which I'll explain to you what you have to do. 12/2, writing is 1 hour. There's no changes in that hours given to you. For the marks, both paper, reading and writing, you have 40 marks each. Now, when I said this earlier, my mic was off. So now my mic is on. I have to repeat this. It is up to the school to do your listening and speaking paper. It depends on your school long-term projection for pupils of Form 1, 2, and 3. If your school wants to make sure that you are capable and proficient in 4 skills, they will do all 4 papers with you, even though Lembaga doesn't prepare speaking and listening. This is my personal opinion. It has not been stated anywhere. So because in SPM, in Form 4, you have 4 papers where all 4 papers are equally important. So if your school does this with you, good, because it's helping you to be prepared for SPM when you are in Form 5. Because reading and writing is not the only language skills in the curriculum. You also have listening and speaking, and summative examination should also cover listening and speaking because it's part of your PBD or classroom-based assessment. Okay, right. Now, so the content, I am going to look at all 5 parts in reading and use of English paper 1, which is part 1, reading short text, 3 option choice, part 2, error correction, part 3, information transfer, part 4, reading comprehension, sentence completion. This is where Form 1 is a little bit different. Form 1 has also true-false statement. And then part 5, matching gap text, right? And then paper 2, writing, you have part 1, short communicative message, and part 2, notes expansion. I'm going to go through all this paper. I'm going to share with you the strategies that you can use to answer all these different papers effectively. Just a little reminder, if you are proficient in English language, you will find that, wow, I'm going very slow and I'm giving you the small details on how to go about it. Please remember, I'm helping also pupils who's not proficient in English and have difficulties in how to answer questions. So if you're proficient, your metacognitive or your brain processes go very fast. Whereas those who are not proficient in the language, they might take some time to answer a question. So I am really breaking down big steps into small steps to help everyone. Okay? Right. So the first here, the short text have 8 questions. I am not going to do 8 questions with you. I'm going to give you only 2 examples. And for reading short text, for this part, you can get an advertisement, you can get signs, labels, short text, and notices. So these short text, 8 of these can come out in any of the 8 questions, all right? Okay, so how do you do? The first thing is you have to read the instruction. The biggest mistake any pupils can make, or any of you students can do, is ignore the instructions. Instructions can change, so please read instructions for all parts, even if you are so used to doing a lot of practices, either from the activity books, from your tuition, from school, from modules, whatever. Always read the instructions. Instructions can change. All right? Read the questions. I didn't ask you to read the text first because you need to read the questions to find out what the questions want you to look for. This is the strategy to make sure you read with a purpose, okay? Then you read the options because you are given options A, B, and C. So read the options, and this is my favorite way to teach my pupils, where you have to always underline keywords in the questions and options. Now, why is it important to underline keywords in the question and options? It is because you need to know what you need to focus on to look at. Most of the time when we read just questions and options and look for the answers, what happened is we might, all right, not focus on what we need to find. That's the purpose of underlining or circling, whatever way comfortable for you, all right? And then only you start looking at the text, whether it's an advertisement, notice, signs, labels, or short text messages, any one of these, look for similar keywords. I didn't say same because sometimes they use synonym, all right? Different words in the text, different words in the answer, but has the same definition. So look for similar keywords from the questions and options in the text so that you get to find what's the correct answer. Then you try to answer the questions first in your own words. All right, then you choose the best answer. When you answer with your own words, you'll be able to choose the best answer from the option given. That is based on step 6, right? Then you just read again to check and confirm. Now, I give you 8 steps here. It seems like, wow, there's so much to do, but actually it isn't. All these steps happens very fast once your mind starts working. You just take actually a few seconds to do all this. It's just that I've broken it down into very detailed steps so that you know which step you're having trouble with. Maybe you have trouble with number 5 because you cannot find similar keywords. Then you know you have problems with vocabulary. Okay, right. So let's look at one example. Read the instruction. This is the instruction you would get. Read the text carefully in each question. Choose the best answer, A, B, or C. For each question, mark the correct answer, A, B, or C. Now they said mark. So you can mark any way you want. You want to circle, you want to do anything on the paper, it's fine. Earlier, I said hi to Puan Salina, Jairam, Afif. Afif retracted his message. Puan Jamia Hashini and CWY. You all didn't hear me because my mic was off, so I'm saying hi again. So any way you want to mark, you can mark. There's a reason why. Hi, Usha. Any way you want to mark, you can mark. All right, so don't worry about it because there's a reason. Okay, I'm going to explain to you why. Now let's look. Like this is a sign or an advertisement or a notice. Sorry, it's a notice. And you read the questions. Okay, I saw that it's a notice, but I'm not reading the notice first. I read the question. They're asking me, you are most likely to find the notice at, these are the 3. Usually, such a short question comes as question number 1 most of the time. If I don't know if forgot my name, Bob, what's up? Nothing is up. I don't know who you are. All right. Okay. Step 2 and 3, you have read the question and option. Then now you underline the keywords in the question and option, right? So we are looking at where you most likely find the notice. So most likely, where would I find the notice? Whether it's Gombak, Kelana Jaya or LRT station. Now, you don't have to underline so many if you don't want to, because these answers are very short. Okay, but for weak students, you might want to circle or underline so it helps you see where is the answer. Now, once you underline, you are looking for most likely where would you find this notice. So then you look at step 5, similar keywords from the question. You already know these are the words that you have underlined. So you can see there's Kelana Jaya. Don't forget, I underline Padang Timur because Padang Timur might be the name of a station. And then last train to Kelana Jaya or Gombak. So you have Kelana Jaya, Gombak there. Right, all tickets purchased before 9 a.m. They didn't talk anything about tickets purchasing, but I underlined that so that I know, okay, all tickets purchased before 9, nothing to do with the question. All right, so where would I most likely find this notice? They are talking about last train to either Kelana Jaya and Gombak, but the name of the station is a Padang Timur. So I don't think that it would be at Kelana Jaya or Gombak. I feel that it would be at Padang Timur, but there is no Padang Timur there. So what I do is, I know it's at Padang Timur. The best answer likely to be is C, at an LRT station. All right, so I already chose my answer, which I said Padang Timur. The answer is not there. All right, so I choose the best answer. It cannot be Gombak, it cannot be Kelana Jaya, but the only answer left is at an LRT station. Right, thank you. If I forget my name, you gave me the answer earlier. Thank you so much. C is the answer. All right, so if you're good in English, you don't have to do so much steps like I've done because you have the brain processes to go through this. But if you don't have, this is what you need to do. Now let's look at another one which has longer text like this. All right, so again, all right, you already read the instruction beginning. So now you have to read the question and option. So I'm not looking at the dialogue yet. I'm going to look at the question and option. Okay, the question is, what is Xavier doing for Sue? Right, so these are the three options, A, B, and C. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to underline keywords in the questions and options. So I will just look at the question. I am going to look what Xavier doing for Susie. So Xavier, Sue, not Susie, Sue. So whether he's meeting her for school activity, offering to help her notes, or helping her study for tests, right? So I already know whether it's meeting her, offering for help, or helping her study. That are the three different things that Xavier might be doing for Sue. So now I would read the text to identify the similar keywords. So these are the keywords I identify, which is Xavier is asking Sue, because Sue, hi Nushin, long time I've not seen you Nushin. Are we meeting after school tomorrow? Sure, should I bring my notes? Well, there is notes. There are notes in the text and there are notes in the answer. So is it they are going to help each other with the notes? Then Sue said that would be great. I'm so nervous about the test. So nervous about the test next week. All right. Glad to help. See you then. Right. So what best answer would be is they did not say anything about meeting, about any school activity. Definitely A is not. But if I need to decide on my own answer, I would say that Xavier is trying to help Sue study for an exam. That is my own answer, right? Because I don't see them talking about school activities. I don't see them talking about writing notes, making notes, how to write good notes, but basically helping her to study. So then I would choose the best answer, and the best answer would be also here, C. So this is how you can answer your comprehension questions for part 1, which is multiple choice, the best way, and make sure your answer is the best answer. All right. Okay, let's look at now part 2. I think you all have no questions for part 1, but for part 2. So for part 2 is error correction. This is one of the most trickiest part for all of you. You're very lucky that you don't have to identify the error. The error has been identified for you. Now you have to correct the error. This is where your language awareness lessons in your classroom or your grammar lessons as you know it is very important. Okay, so hold on. Okay, so you have what are the strategies? My strategies, if those who have learned from me from 3, from 4, 2 years ago, you would realize my strategies are always the same. Okay. Okay. All right. So read the passage carefully. First, you need to read the passage carefully because you get a text which is longer, right? Which is longer than the first text, short text from part 1. You read, you have to circle this first, the tense used throughout the text, because you need to know whether it is in the past tense or present tense first, right? So that your mind is set that, words should be in certain tenses. Then only you can make a decision whether to use present perfect, past perfect, continuous, and all kinds of things that you have to do once you know what tense. Then you look at the subject and its verb in every sentence. Because if it is a singular subject, the verb must be singular, plural subject, verb must be plural. And singular subject usually is present tense. All right. You have S for your verbs, usually the common verbs, and those verbs that is for plural nouns, more than one, then the subject usually, and then the verb has no S. That is the common one. You have other verbs in English that has different rules, okay? Now remember, the errors are grammatical. It can be nouns, pronouns, articles, adjectives, verbs, tenses, modals, adverbs, preposition, connectors, conjunctions, subject-verb agreement, and so on. Please remember there are no spelling or punctuation errors in the text. There are no. So you don't have to worry whether the spelling is correct or the punctuation is correct. You are just looking at grammar. Okay, that one you have to remember very well. Okay, so now what is the strategy best used to correct errors? Okay, so this is the way I do it, and I know some teachers do it with their students, and I know some of you learn it this way also in the tuition center, right? One is find. One is find family members of the underlined words. Okay, I'm going to show you how you find family members. The errors are almost always in the same grammatical form as the correct ones. Okay, don't change, all right? So investigate and find the culprit. Culprit are strangers. Strangers that are not supposed to be with the family members. And this is through the process of elimination. When I show you the example, you understand what I'm trying to say. So for example, all right, if the error is M, okay, M-A-M-I-M, all right, list the family members first. So the family members are all this: am, is, are, was, and were. These are only the family members. There are no other family members supposed to be in this group at all. All right, anyone that's in the family members would be strangers. The strangers, not culprit, the strangers, they are not supposed to be in the list. Okay, then remember, always check the tense. Remember, the first thing I say is read the text and find out what the tense is. Because if the text is in the past tense, then you eliminate the innocent parties, the party who are not involved in being in the past tense. So you will take away am, is, and are from the family members. These are innocent parties. And all right, okay, so the culprit is, imagine a family member who's lazy to do the work. They are supposed to be in that tax, but they are lazy. They ran away. So M took the place of the lazy family member. So you find the lazy culprit. Who is it that's supposed to be doing the work in the tax but ran away? So you left was and were. Once you have left this, you're doing the process of elimination now. Elimination means taking away. Okay? Check the subject. So if the subject is singular, you're talking about he, you're talking about she, you're talking about one person named Ali or Abu or Ahmad. That's my favorite three students names that I like to use. I don't have students named Ali, Ahmad, Abu, but I always use them as examples. So I'm sorry if your name is Ali, Ahmad, and Abu. All right. If singular, I, then you know the answer would be was. So was the culprit that ran away. So were is also out of it because you cannot say Ali were. It's Ali was. He was. She was. All right. So that's how you use the strategy to correct errors. This is a simple one that I've shown. So now what I'm going to do is, all right, I'm going to let you know that one of the most, there's other difficult ones, but the one of the most difficult would be prepositions, because there are 150 prepositions in the English language, and you need to know what type of prepositions to use. So you have prepositions of time. These are examples of prepositions of time: on, at, in, from, to, for, since, ago, before, till or until, or by. And there are more. This is only examples. You have prepositions of places, also at, in, on, by, near, close to, next to, beside, between, behind, in front of, above, over, below, under, to tell the place. Preposition of direction or movement, when you're moving or something is moving or a vehicle is moving, a thing is moving. To, from, over, under, along, around, across, through, into, out of, toward or towards, away from, onto, off, up and down. And then you have preposition of agent, who's the doer, by, with, on, all right? And then measure, measurement, of or by. And you have source, where it comes from or of, okay? And then preposition of possession, belonging, with, to or of. And then you have prepositional phrases. Prepositional phrases, you have, like, for example, by luck, by accident, at risk, on board. This one is their partner, which you cannot divorce them. You cannot say at luck, it's always by luck. So this is prepositional phrases, and they are always the same. All right, it's different from phrasal verbs. Right, phrasal verbs are different from prepositional phrases. Phrasal verbs, the difference is that the preposition comes maybe after the verb. All right, but this one is, it is before a noun usually. Okay, right. Now reading here, let's practice a few examples because there are 8. Okay, let's practice a few examples from part 2. Okay, and then let's use the strategy that I've thought. Okay, this will take some time. So read the passage carefully. While reading, circle the tense used throughout the text, and also the subject and its verb in every sentence. So if you get the text, you will be given a title for the text. So this is caring for cats. All right, so this is the text. I only took up to number 5, but when I show you examples, I only will do up to number 3. I won't do 4 and 5, okay? Now, cats can be one of the more lovable and playful pets to have, all right? Because there's an error there, it's difficult to see the tense. So continue reading. These adorable felines make good comparisons for you. All right, and however, keeping them at home means taking off a big responsibility. You need to make their life comfortable and ensure they are well groomed. So you can see the word make, means, all right, are. This tells you something already, that what the text would be the need, All right, if you have a new cat, you must introduce your pet to its litter box as soon as possible. Doing so can help you give your pet a sense of comfort. Your cat will feel that it owns. All right, so you look at the verb, the tense, it's little space in the world. And then choose the right litter box is also very important for your cat. It has to feel and smell right. Okay, the size of the litter box must correspond to a size of the cat. It cannot be too big or too small. The feeding dish and bowl must also be easy to clean. The design of the dish and bowl should be such that it is stable, and the bowl must not turn over when a little pressure is applied. All right, then you have looking at the subject and verb, right? So you have keeping, talking about felines make, because more than one. And then you got keeping means, and then you need. All right, they are, it owns. Okay, and then here choose is and it has. So this one tells you that it is in, and little pressure is applies. All right, the tense used in the text is present. So once you know it's present, you will think everything in the present form should be used, except for certain situation. There'll be certain situation that you might have to use different kind of tense depending on the sentence. That's when you go and look at the sentence. All right. Okay, sorry. Now you have that. Find the family members of the underlined words. The errors. Okay, the errors are always the same, right? Like I said, from the grammatical form. So number O is more. Okay, more. I just show you how they do it. So more, you know, the family members, there are few. Most, mostly. You can also have few, less, fewer, and little. Okay, these are the family member. More, not only most, you can use all this because they're talking about amount. All right. Okay. The extent of something, how much something is. All right. I think I forgot the word much there. All right. Then you eliminate. What you need to do now is you investigate and find the culprit, the lazy person who didn't want to do the work. So you will find that you cannot use mostly, okay, because you can see that once you have you know the answer. Okay, cats can be one on the mostly, cannot. All right. The few lovable, playful pets, one of the few is not a very good answer. It's not the few lovable and playful pets to have. Fewer definitely is not. Little definite, the little no. So you only left the most lovable. Okay, can be one of the most lovable because of the word the tells you should use a superlative. Okay, not comparative. Because here more works as a comparative and most is superlative. Okay, because you know that to compare can be one of the most. Then you look at the next one, number 1 here. Okay, so the answer is most. Let's look at the second one. The first one, which I didn't show the text anymore. I'm just focusing on the sentence. All right, the 3 dots to say that is a continuation from the next sentence before that. However, keeping them at home means taking off a big responsibility. This is where you have to know your phrasal verbs. This is when phrasal verbs come, because take comes from the word taking, comes from the word take, and all this preposition that comes after the verb has different meaning. Okay, so what you have is from take off, taking off, you can have taking up, taking out, taking in, taking after, taking back, taking on, taking over, taking off. That's why I say prepositions are very difficult. Taking away, taking back, and taking down. You need to know there are different meanings to all these phrasal verbs, right? So what you do then, you investigate. Who would not be? You are talking about responsibility. Okay, when you talk about responsibility, all right, you cannot do anything else besides taking off is out. So you cannot be taking out. Taking out is to take away something. All right, take out. So if I say take out and take away, it's like more or less the same. All right, take out is from in to out. Taking away, it's from outside to remove something. Okay, so you can't use taking in. Taking in is to bring in something. Okay, you cannot take after. Which one? No, sorry, that taking up is like to learn. Taking down, I'm sure you know what it means. Taking down, bring down. Taking after means to follow like someone, right? Taking back, you are buruk siku, taking back. Taking away is something like taking out, all right? And then taking off is to take off. Taking off is usually you wear something like a hat and you take off your hat, all right? Taking over is not taking back, all right? And then taking back got two, all right, sorry, my bad. And then you got taking over is to make sure you are doing something instead of someone else. So you left taking on. Taking on is you are going to do it. All right, so means taking on a big responsibility. So yes, correct, Naufal, it's taking on. Excellent, Naufal. So the only answer is taking on. All right, so the answer is taking on. Now it looks difficult because I'm going, like I said, I'm going step by step. Once you know how to do this, it's very, very fast actually when you're doing it in the exam. You just list down all and see which would be best. If you are proficient in the language like I am, we automatically know the answer. If you are not proficient, then you need to do this so that it helps you choose the best answer. All right? Okay. Now let's look at the second one. If you have a new cat, right? You must introduce your pet to eat litter box as soon as possible. Now, when you look at this, you would know that another way of doing it is know the function of the word in the text. But for me, many of you do not know what is it, whether it's a noun, whether it's a verb, whether it's an adjective, whether it functions as a pronoun and so on. So that you need to learn really detailed in grammar, but you do that in your Form 3 textbook. They tell you what function of the word. Is it a noun? Is it a pronoun? Is it an adjective? And so on. All right. So what I do is I always tell my pupils to list down what can you do. If it's eat, you're talking about eat litter box. All right. You can say hers. Okay. Our litter box. Their litter box. My, her, his, its, yours, ours, theirs, and mine. Now, the difference is one is just to use as a pronoun, object pronoun like my litter box, her litter box, his litter box. But here, it doesn't show that. It's telling you the belonging, the possession, who possessed this little litter box. All right. So definitely you will find the culprit. It cannot be our litter box because it's an animal. It, right? It's an animal. You cannot talk using our, their. Our, their are all for human beings. Mine definitely cannot. Her cannot. Hers cannot because not talking about a gender girl. Mine is for my, because if you have a new cat, a cat is an animal, right? So theirs is for more than one, right? Ours cannot, it's not about we. Yours definitely no, all right? His is for a guy, for a male, so you only left its to show the belonging, to its litter box. All right, so if you have a new friend, then you're talking about human being. You must introduce your friend not to litter box, to something. All right, that's when it depends. To your friends, that is different. To your friends as soon as possible. All right. Okay, so now you find, now again, the last one, choose. Choose the right litter box is also very important for your cat. All right, so under choose, you have chooses, you have choosing, you have chose, chose is past tense, and then you have chosen, and you have choice. Choice is a noun here. Now, you know that it is in the present tense. So definitely, you will make sure that, oh, I give you the answer already. It's the other way around. You would not use choice, all right? Choice, the right litter box is not. You will not use chosen. Chosen, the right litter box is also not, all right? Chooses, no. Chooses the right litter box is also no, all right? Because here, choose here should be a noun, all right? But it's not choice because you want to use an activity kind, all right? Like fishing, all right? Dancing, it works as a noun. A verb in the ing form that functions as a noun is known as a gerund. So the best answer would be choosing. Choosing the right litter box is also very important. All right, if it's choice, the sentence pattern will be different. Okay, the best choice for the best choice of a litter box is very important for your cat. That would be the way to do it. All right. Okay. Any questions? No one is saying anything? All right. Let's look now at part 3, information transfer. Now, I want to inform the Form 1s, if you are here, your information transfer would be for you to transfer an advertisement or a sign or a notice. Okay, thank you, Harshini. A sign and a notice into a table. Okay, information from a sign or notice, you transfer it into a table. For Form 2, you would transfer it into a mind map. For Form 3, you can get either a table or a mind map. However, how you transfer the information is more important than the layout of what you're going to get. Whether it's a table or it's a mind map, it doesn't matter because the way to get the answer is the same. It's only the layout of your graphic organizer is different based on the form you are at. Only Form 3, you won't know what you would get. But Form 1, that's what was told, table. Form 2, mind map. Form 3, either one. Okay? So I'm going to use a mind map, yes. All right. So strategy for part 3, read the instruction. This is very important because they will tell you the number of words you are allowed to use when you are writing down the answer. What has been stated is usually not more than 5 words. I know when the old PT3 paper, for this was not more than 3 words. But they said in the recent DDate TV, seminar on this one, on the format, when they introduce the format, it says not more than 5 words. My advice to all of you is always read the instruction to make sure whether it's not more than 5 words or not more how many words. Please read. Don't assume based on what I have said. You have to read the instruction, okay? Then read the table or mind map based on what you are going to get. Underline the keywords in the table or mind map. It's very important. Okay, so that you know what you need to look for. Read the text to identify similar keywords from the table mind map. Here meaning that if they want you to find about activities, then you have to look at the text and find activity based. things that they do. All right? Okay. And then complete the table and mind map using the words from the text. Please make sure your spelling is correct. Okay? And then read again to check and confirm that you did not use more than the number of words allowed. Now, many pupils tend to write the whole sentence into the table or in the mind map. Please let me remind you, the moment you see that the words are more than 5 or more than 3, whatever you are asked to fill in, we will not read anymore. We'll just give you 0 because you didn't follow or adhere to the number of words allowed. So please don't make yourself get 0 for no reason. Just use the number of words allowed to make sure that you have the chance of getting a mark. All right? Even though you write the whole sentence that have 10 words and the answer is part of that 10 words, you would not get a mark still. Okay, so read the instruction. So complete the following graphic organizer. Choose no more than 5 words and or a number from the text for each answer. Okay, write your answer in the space provided. So if there's a space provided, write the answer. Okay, so second, read the table on mind map. So I'm going to use a mind map or a graphic organizer, and I'm underlining keywords now. Getting a mind map, usually the words are not many. It's very simple. All right. I'm going to look at project location. Where is the location of the project? Accommodation. You need to know what accommodation is. Okay, if you know what's accommodation, then you know that it is a place to live, a place that you stay for a short while. Duration. What is duration? Time. How long? Cost. I'm sure everyone know what is cost. Okay, activities. And then you have program. Includes. Now, I have a little problem with the word program, but I will explain later why. Don't forget that there are some answers given to you here. So you need to know that visit the local kindergarten and learn the tribal traditions would also be in the text. So don't repeat the answer. If it's already in the text, you have to find another 2 answers that is not the one here. And here, program includes, you already have an accommodation. You have to look for the other 2 that are not mentioned. So don't repeat the answers that have been stated. All right. Once you see that and you know it's about Borneo Animal and Tribal Children Volunteer Program, then you read the text and identify similar keywords from the table or mind map. And then you complete them using the words from the text and ensure your spelling is correct. So I'm going to show you the text. This is a text. Borneo Animal and Tribal Children Volunteer Program. The project is ideal for people who love working outdoors or working with children and horses. Those who want to experience another way of life or are looking for a project with conservation value can also take part. You get to spend 2 weeks in a mini agroforestry park and wildlife sanctuary in Borneo, Sarawak. As a volunteer on the farm, you will go horse riding and help in training horses, visit the local kindergarten and school to interact with children, plant trees, learn tribal traditions, and for only 750 ringgit, you can stay in a comfortable farmhouse. The course includes accommodation, meals, and local guides. Hi, Bunga Irish. Okay, it does not cover airfares, travel insurance, and fees for extra excursions. To register or to make inquiries, please call this person at this number. All right. So the first question was the location, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yes, the location. So where is it? Where is the location? If you can see, location. Then we look at accommodation, duration. So let's look at location. Where is the location? The location is at Borneo, Sarawak. So you get the answer there. That's what exactly you must put in, Borneo, Sarawak. The next part is what accommodation, isn't it, that you would stay on, right? Yes, accommodation. So you would stay in a, you can get the answer. The answer is here, farmhouse. We're going to stay. You can stay because accommodation, you can stay, right? Okay. All right. High, big, chilling. All right. So you can stay in a comfortable farmhouse. So this is the accommodation. If you know the meaning of accommodation, this is where you get the answer because you can stay, right? Then you have duration. You get to spend 2 weeks here in a mini agroforestry. So this is the duration, right? And then talking about cost, the only part in the text that has a price or cost is here. So this is the cost. And then, right, now you have activities. They already have given you here, visit local kindergarten, and they given you learn tribal traditions. So actually you have three other answers here, but you only need to choose 2. So choose any 2 of these 3. Go horse riding or help in train horse or help in training horses. And then one more is plant trees. You choose any of the 3 would be fine. And then the last one that I say I have a little problem is the word programs include. Actually, I think the answer should be costs includes because it's not program. When you put program, it's very funny because it doesn't include, the program doesn't, the cost includes this, accommodation, meals, local guides. These are the 2 answers you need to put in because accommodation is already in the answer. All right. So let's see, you read again and check that you did not use more than the number of words, not more than 5 words, right? So project, location, Borneo, Sarawak, 2 words, fine. Accommodation, farmhouse, fine. If you write comfortable farmhouse, also okay. It's not a problem because it's only 2 words. And then you have 2 weeks. You either can write 2 weeks, spell it all out, or you write the number 2 and weeks. Okay, and then the cost is RM 750. And then the activities, go horse riding, and you can have plant trees. If you didn't choose go horse riding, but you choose help train horses, also fine. All right. And then you have meals for number 7 and local guides. So I'm sure all of it is not more than 5 words. So it's fine. So this is how you put your answers. All right. And then part 4. No question, I'm sure part 3. Part 4. For Form 1, please remember you have 8 questions only. These 10 questions are from Form 2 and Form 3. However, Form 1, the way to answer the questions for this is the same as in Form 2 and Form 3. It's only thing, your task is a little bit easier than Form 2 and Form 3 because you are in Form 1. Okay, so you got 8 marks for part 4 for Form 1, 10 marks for part 4 for Form 2 and Form 3. So here, is the same thing. You still have to read the instructions and determine the word limit. You need to know the word limit. Now for Form 1, your true-false statement, for the first 4 sentences, you only have to write true or false. There's only one word. Please don't write more than true, false, no, just true or false, one word. But the next 4 sentences, you might be told to use not more than 5 words. Please check. Like I say, always check. But for Form 4, Form 2 and Form 3, definitely not more than 5 words. Skim the passage carefully. Skim means read quickly. When you read quickly, you read the first few sentences in each paragraph because you just want to get an idea what the text is about. I will show you an example how to skim in a while when I show you the example of the text. And then you read the questions, or if there's no question, you add incomplete sentences. As usual, always underline keywords. Keywords are very important. I'm going to repeat this, and it's very, very important because it will help you focus on what you need to look for. And it helps you to read with a purpose. If you don't underline keywords, you do not read for a purpose because you are reading and say, oh, maybe this is the answer. Underlining or circling keywords make you focus better and read for a purpose. Okay, now remember Usually, this is what happens. The question and sentences follow the sequence of the passage. Usually in activity books, okay, done by all kinds of publishers, this is one thing lacking, and the example I'm going to show you also have this problem. It doesn't follow the sequence of the passage. A good exam paper will follow, the questions will follow the flow of the passage. No matter what, you still have to make sure you check all parts, because this time for you ASA is done by we got a lot of sets, so we do not know whether this is followed, but this is usually how examinations, whether it's summative or whether it's SPM, they should follow the sequence of the passage. But human beings, sometimes we overlook this when we set questions, so you as students need to be smart and also be alert that it might not follow the sequence of the passage. Okay? Now you scan. Scanning is reading for details. Reading for details means you look for keywords, the synonyms from the questions or sentences in the passage, you underline them. If you notice, the same pattern has been going on since I did part 1. Reading, underlining, underlining, looking for similar words. Reading strategies are the same. I only added about skimming. I only added scanning now. Alright, because the texts have been becoming longer. Ensure that your answers are structurally and grammatically correct when you complete the sentence. When you have to complete the sentence, it must be grammatically correct. Because here they are not only testing your reading comprehension, they also testing your knowledge of grammar. Okay? Alright, so remember, change the personal pronouns when necessary. If the text talk about someone's personal experience, I did this, I did that. When you answer the question, you have to change I to whether he or she, depending on the gender in the text. Don't use I because you're not talking about yourself. You're talking about the person in the text. All right? Okay. Now let's practice part 4. Or you don't have a question paper. Okay. So, right, answer the question below. Choose no more than 5 words and or a number from the text for each answer. For each question, write your answer in the space provided. So no more than 5 words. Again, for Form 1 is true, false for the first 4 questions. So you have to underline the keywords in the text and see whether the statements that you underline also, all right, carries the same meaning or it's different, has different meanings to decide whether it's true or false. Okay, so skim the passage carefully. Skim is how to read. I'm going to show you how to read quickly like this. Okay, when you skim, meaning when you get the text for the first time, you just read the first sentence here. It's talking about a type 1 diabetes diagnosis, means day-to-day changes and lifetime of careful eating. Okay, I just read that a little bit. I know they're talking about type 1 diabetes. Then I go to the first sentence again here. Tammy is a brave 6-year-old girl with a type 1 diabetes. So now they're giving me an example of a person with a type 1 diabetes. All right. If I want to confirm, I just can look at the last sentence if I want. That is how you skim. Besides that, blood sugar dispose use of needle are part of their lives. Oh, okay, this is part of someone who has type 1 diabetes. So far, there is no cure for type 1, but the insulin injections. Okay, they're talking about no cure, but how they can control it. All right. And she cannot eat without checking her blood sugar. So she must be about Tammy. And then down here, oh, sorry. Okay, Tammy will live with the condition for the rest of her life. Okay, she will be living with type 1 diabetes for the rest of her life. All right, so that is how you skim. You just read first sentences, and then if you want to confirm the last sentence of each paragraph, and that so that you get an idea what the text is about. That's how you always do. You skim first. Once you know what the text is about, then you read the question. Tammy has, Tammy and the family have to always monitor her. Okay, these are the sentence you have to complete. All right, Tammy needs to eat food when her blood sugar level is low. When Tammy is too tired to eat sugary food, she has to receive a what? Tammy will always have type 1 diabetes because Tammy needs to eat what based on her insulin level. Tammy needs to be at the hospital for checkups. Despite having to live with this diabetes forever, Tammy is still otherwise what? And then you have two vocabulary questions. That's why for Form 2 and 3, you have 10 because the last two would be a vocabulary question. The 8 would be sentence completion, whereas for Form 1, the first 4 would be true false, the last 4 will be sentence completion, but you do not have two vocabulary questions for Form 1. That's why Form 1 you only have 8 marks. Okay? Now, so you underline the keywords. Tammy has, I'm sure you know what she have already, you know that, what she have, because you have read just now. But just to make sure you know what she has, you have to underline that. And then Tammy and her family have to always monitor what? What does they always have to monitor? You have to look for the word monitor. Tammy needs to eat food when her blood sugar level is low. Eat what type of food when blood sugar level is low? Too tired to eat sugary food? Receive what? This is something you need to look for in the text. Always have type 1 diabetes because why would she always have this diabetes? Okay, and then she needs to eat what based on her insulin level and be at the hospital for checkups. So that is what I need to look for, hospital checkups. Despite having to live with this diabetes forever, Tammy is still what? She is still going to be what? All right, and then you have the two vocabulary questions. Okay. So let's look. I'm looking at it, two paragraphs at one time. Tammy has. So you need to look what Tammy is suffering from. Tammy is a brave 6-year-old girl with type 1 diabetes. That's the sentence that have the answer. Once you get that, you need to make sure you put the answer. Tammy has type 1 diabetes. Does the sentence make sense? Tammy has type 1 diabetes. Yes. Grammatically correct. So no problem. Okay. I see that they have a hyphen here. I make sure I have a hyphen here too. I just follow exactly the spelling to make sure that I do not get marks deducted. Right? Next, Tammy and the family have to always monitor. Monitor what? Okay, so this is where I said suddenly the answer is at the top. This is the only place I see monitoring blood sugar levels. So the best answer would be blood sugar levels. I got the answer there. Still, here only 2 words, here 3 words. So I still within the 5-word limit. Okay, and then I have Tammy needs to eat food. Tammy needs to eat food when blood sugar low. Eat what food when her blood sugar level is low? So I need to see sentences here. All right, when Tammy's blood sugar level is low, she needs to eat sugar to correct it. So to eat food, I have to add. I know the answer is sugar, but I cannot say Tammy needs to eat food sugar. I add with sugar to make it grammatically correct. This is what I'm talking about. You need to have grammar knowledge also. You cannot just put, oh, I know the answer is sugar. I'm just going to put eat food sugar. No, add with sugar. All right. And then 28, when Tammy is too tired to eat sugary food. Now, when she's too tired, she needs to receive what? So I look, right? Often this means giving her jelly as an example. However, here, sometimes she's too tired even to eat and we need to give her a glucose injection. So when Tammy is too tired, she has to receive the answer would be here, receive because we already got here, just answer glucose injection. So that's how you have to look for the sentence that has the answer and then you have to decide how you're going to put in the answer. All right? Okay, so scan passage loop from the question, underline them, read the question to obtain the answer. Okay, so we're going to do now for the last two. paragraph with the remaining 4 questions before we go to the vocabulary. Tammy will always have type 1. Always have type 1. Why? Because this one you have to infer, meaning make your own conclusion. Why would she always have? There is no cure, right? So there is no cure. Forwards. You cannot put there is no cure for type 1. There will be more than 5 words. So there is no cure. That's it. Okay. What does she need to eat based on her insulin level? So Tammy received mix-up, which her body doesn't produce. Tammy is still very young. She has learned to inject herself. Nothing to do with what she needs to eat based on her insulin level. She has to learn to inject herself, but her parents still help her with finger prick tricks for blood glucose level. Her food is always measured. Here. Her food is always measured as she needs to eat the correct amount of different types of food according to her insulin level. So they're based on her insulin level. So now the answer is very long here. Her food is always measured as she needs to eat. Eat what? The correct amount of different types of food. There are more than 5. What is important is amount of different types of food. She needs to eat different types of food, not the number amount, the different types of food. She cannot eat the same type of food. All right. So the answer would be different types of food. So Tammy needs to eat different types of food. This is a little bit tricky because some of you might think correct amount is more important than different type. Because if you say she needs to eat the correct amount of food, it doesn't show that she needs to eat different types of food. What is more important in this sentence is she needs to eat different types of food in the correct amount. So make intelligent choice. What is being stated here? Different types of food. All right. And then Tammy needs to be at the hospital. Now we need to find her. Where is it, the hospital? I can see the word hospital here. All right. So going to hospital every 3 months to check her progress. Check her progress means for checkups. So Tammy needs to be at the hospital. All right, she needs to be at the hospital every 3 months. You can also use the number 3 if you want, every 3 months. Okay, 3 words there. And the last one, despite having to live with this diabetes forever, Tammy is still otherwise what? So you want to know, she has to live this, what does it mean? So you have the sentence here, although there is no cure, it is important to remember that Tammy is otherwise, you have also here otherwise, a normal and healthy 6 years old. All right, and looking at her, you wouldn't guess. All right, so despite having to live with this diabetes forever, Tammy is still otherwise normal and healthy. You don't have to repeat 6 years old, right? It's otherwise normal and healthy. Okay, if you have 6 years old, it's still otherwise a normal and healthy 6 years old. All right, you have to make sure if you want to put 6 years old, you have to add a. All right, and 6 years old here is hyphenated. All right, okay. Now we go into vocabulary, the last 2 questions. This is for Form 2 and Form 3. Okay, you have the word difficulties. So if you know the meaning of difficulties, you can find the answer. Difficulties are things that you experience to make sure that you can solve it, that has maybe a lot of obstacles, right? So the best word, you have to read and find the best word, and the best word would be here, challenges. You can put the word difficulties here. These difficulties are hard at any age. You can replace it actually, right? And then you have the next one, courageous. Okay, courageous if you have the strength. You are not scared, right? So you know, so you have brave. Courageous is brave. So Tammy is a courageous 6-year-old, right? You can replace it. So that's brave. Sometimes they give you more longer definition because they cannot find one word just for you to put it. So to replace that, so make sure you find. So that's how you find words to find. It's easier to find this way than asking you what's the meaning of challenges, what's the meaning of brave. They give you the meaning, you find the word from the text, it's easier. Okay? All right. Let's continue. Any questions so far for this one before I go to match gap text? Right, now matching gap text also different a little bit for Form 1. Form 2 and Form 3, you have exactly these 6 marks, but for Form 1, you have 8 marks. All right, Hashmi, you're such a good student, listening and saying yes or no. Okay, so for Form 1, you have 8 marks because you will have 2 different texts. But the way to answer the text is the same with how Form 2 and Form 3 is going to do. Form 2 and Form 3 will have 1 text, and then they have 8 sentences, but they only need to use 6. For Form 1, you have 2 texts. Each text, you have 4 sentences and 4 gaps. So you use all 4 in that text. You don't have extra sentences. And then on the second text, also you will have 4 gaps and 4 sentences, and you use all 4 to fill up the gaps. You don't have any extra to, let's say, make you think the answer might not be this, which one the answer, and so on. But Form 2 and Form 3, you have to make sure you only use 6 out of the 8, meaning there are 2 that you will not use, right? So, now this is one of the most difficult part. I know most of you find it difficult to get the correct sentence, right? So when you have to skim. Again, skim means reading quickly. I already told you how you can read quickly to get an idea, and then you read the 8 provided sentences. For Form 1, you read 4 for one text and another 4 for the other text. And you still have to underline the keywords, even though yours is only 4. Underline the keywords. And then you scan. Scan means you start reading the details. You want to identify what are the main idea in each paragraph. And then you look for the keywords from the sentences before and after the gap. Underline them. All right? Okay, and then you choose the sentence best suit the gap. All right, this is very long. You have to look at a lot of clues. The clues would be at the linkers, the word, the phrases, the time periods, the cause and effect, examples given, the contrasting arguments, the repetition, and so on. Okay, I'm not going to go into details with this one, but I'll show you how you can do it. Then you read the passage again with the chosen sentences to ensure there is a flow. Flow means make sure that it flows well. Okay, and do not word spot. Do not just say, oh, I see this word, so definitely this is the answer. That is assuming that if the same word, name, date appears with the option and also in the text, definitely that's the answer. So do not word spot. All right. So I'm going to give you only this example with only two gaps to show you how to do it. All right. So the text is quite difficult. Do not worry about the text that's difficult. What's important is you know how to look for clues so that you know which one to put it in. Okay. So first of all, you have to read the opening of the Museum of Black Civilization in Dhaka, Senegal is welcome as African countries work harder for the restitution of artworks from their former colonial masters. So you're talking about opening of museum, okay, in Senegal. All right, is welcome as African countries, so must be to do with Africa, for the restitution of artwork from their former colonial masters. All right, okay, it was a first gesture acting on the findings of study commissioned by the president, okay, on repatriating African treasures held by French Museum. Senegal, here Senegal is the name of a place, all right, was quick to call for the restitution for some 10,000 pieces of Senegalese art from France. So you got 10,000 pieces here. So when you read, you already know it's about a museum who's trying to get back artwork from different countries for their museum. All right, so once you get the idea, you don't have to understand everything there, but you get the gist. Okay, so opening, first gesture by French Museum. All right, and then the 10,000, because you know why this is important? Because I need to fill in the gap here. All right, okay, then I look at the, sorry, 8 sentences. Truly expensive project. So when something is expensive, needs to talk about price, how much it costs, all right, whether they need a lot of money and so on, okay? And then talking about rap and slam performances, also there is some performance going on. These places boost growing demands for the restoration of artwork, all right? Countries like France are working hard to prevent the artworks from leaving the country, okay? That means France are working hard not to make sure the artwork does not leave the country, their country, French. Ivory Coast followed the suit the next day. The next day, another country follow, okay, asking the return about 100 works of art. And then both honor the past and look for the future. France was the first to work in the positive direction by pledging to return the artwork, and the performance were not as well. Again, there's another performance here, also performance. Okay. Another thing you remember, I said you need to look at the linkers, the word choices. So this was a truly. That means before this sentence, they must be talking about a project that might have cost money. To say this was a truly expensive project, okay? And then you have these places. That means more than one place, because these places, right? And then both meaning before this sentence, they might have discussed something about two different things or two different situations for them to use the word both. Another one is, I forgot to circle, is countries like. This is example, countries like France are working hard to prevent. So these are things that you need to look for, right? And let's look. What would the answer best be? When you see that the opening of museum is welcome, okay, as African countries work harder for the restitution of artworks from their former colonial masters, meaning they are getting back their artwork from people who have colonized them before. Colonized means like how British colonized us before. Someone else take over our country and become our masters. So this is the same thing, all right? That it was a first gesture held by French Museum. So something to do with French, all right? Okay, from France. So the best thing, it was the first gesture, meaning I cannot talk about expensive project. It's not talking about price. There is nothing about performance. It's not talking about these places. What places? This one place, they are only talking about Senegal. All right, opening of the museum, one place. Countries like France working hard to prevent. Are they preventing or are they giving? Because it was a first gesture, all right, acting held by French Museum. So I don't think France is preventing. Ivory Coast followed the follow suit next day. Next day, asking about return, 100 was nothing, not yet. I've not come to another paragraph. Both honor the past, no both. Still talking about Africa here. All right, and then here talking about French Museum, but nothing talking about past and look for the future, no. French, hi Adam. French was the first by pledging to return artworks. All right, so first, and then here it was a first gesture. So the answer might be G, right? And then here performance, nothing to do. So the best answer would be G. So the opening of the museum is welcome as African countries work harder for the restitution of artworks from their former colonial master. France was the first to work in the positive direction by pledging to return artworks. It was a first gesture acting on the findings of a study commissioned by President Emmanuel Macron on repatriating African treasures held by French Museum. Flows well. Now, Senegal was quick to call for the restitution of some 10,000 pieces of Senegalese art from France. You got a number here. the best answer would be Ivory Coast followed suit the next day, asking for the return of around 100 works of art. So France have been taking word of arts from a lot of places. Okay, right? So answer is E. That's how you do, and you have to do the rest for the others, which I'm not going to do it here because it will take a lot of time to explain one by one, right? Your teacher in your school would be able to do that. Now, the reason why you cannot use all 1 hour 30 minutes to just do part 1 to part 5, because you have to remember transfer all answers in the question paper to the answer sheet provided at the back of the question paper, where I'm sure you have seen it, your teacher have shown you before, you have done it, where the question 1 to 8, which is the 3 multiple choice, you have to shade A, B or C, and then number 9 to number 16, you have to write your error correction answer, and then your information transfer, not more than 5 words, you have to also write in the space given, and then you have your reading comprehension, 8 for from 1 true false, you write in the first 4 and then the not more than 5 words in the next 4, but for form 2 and form 3 all not more than 5 words, and the last 2 vocabulary is just 1 word. And then you have this last part, again there will be A, B, C, D, depending on what form you are. For form 2 and 3 you will have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and you have to choose the answer for the remaining 6, whereas from 1 you have to choose the answer for the remaining 8. You have to shade the answer. So my advice, this is my advice, but as usual, follow your school instruction or follow the instruction in the question paper. My advice is always use a pencil, because in SPM later, you still do the same thing. You have to transfer all the answers to the back in an OMR paper, which is a computerized paper for the computer to mark. Because in Form 5, most of your reading and use of English paper 1 is objective. You still have one part where you have to write your answers, but mostly is objective. So this is my opinion. But you use the pen if your teacher asks you to use the pen for whatever reason. The reason I ask to use pencil is because I want to make my pupils to remember that when it's paper 1, use a pencil, becomes a habit when they go to Form 5. That's all. That's the reason, nothing else. But like I say, adhere to your school instruction, adhere to your teacher, whatever your teacher preferences is. Okay? So that is the end of paper 1. Any question? Anyone? No question. Is everything clear for everybody? No. Yes, silence means good. All right. Let's go to writing. All right. So for writing 12.2, I'm going to share with you a strategy that I have been doing for past 2 years. And I find that it works well because you can use this strategy for writing up to Form 5. If you are not Form 1, Form 2, Form 3 or Form 4, Form 5, you use the same strategy. This strategy works well no matter what form you are. And it works for all essays. And I'll show you why it works. Now you only have 2 parts. Part 1, short communicative language, short communicative message, not language. All right, so short communicative message, you see I'm repeating the same thing. Read the instruction because you need to know. Remember, for Form 1, Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, you have to write about 80 words, right? Read the stimulus. The stimulus is the message they give you. What message you have to answer. Okay, someone is writing you a message or a note or whatever, that's the stimulus. Underline the keywords, because if you don't underline, you will not answer to the message. You might miss important things that you need to answer the message to get full marks for content. That's why you need to underline the keywords. Now, this is the formula that I've been teaching to many of my pupils. You answer 7 questions. The formula is tapirla. I'm sure you have gone to the zoo or you have seen on pictures and you have seen on videos, whatever, a tapir. Tapir is an animal. So I just add tapir lah, all right? So whenever you see animal, tapir lah, you think of English. Then you write your message and then you read your message to check you have answered the question by using the 7 questions in step 4 to guide you, and you edit if you have time. You are advised to spend 15 minutes, 15 minutes only on this question, because this question's level is basically low level, which is A2 level, meaning year 6 from 1 level actually. All right. So I'm showing you an example. All right. Step 1 and 2, read the instruction and stimulus. So I read the message from your English speaking friend Alex. Hi, I'm thinking of starting a new hobby. I could do cooking, cycling, or painting, or maybe something else. What should I do? Let me know what you think, Alex. In about 80 words, write a message to Alex giving some advice. So I then underline the keywords. So the keywords would be, is a message from my English speaking friend Alex. That means my friend doesn't know how to speak Malay. I think so. I'm thinking starting hobby. He's going to start a hobby. You can do cooking. The choice. What are the choice? Cooking, cycling, painting, something else. I love that this question has something else. That means that when you answer the question, you can choose cooking, you can choose cycling, you can choose painting, or if you don't like all these 3, you want to choose fishing, you want to choose reading a book, you want to choose playing football, you can, because this part here gives you the free hand to choose something else. But if the question does not have this, it just said I could do cooking, cycling, or painting, and it put a question mark here, so a full stop here, then you have, the best thing is to choose either one of the 3. But when you have extra here or maybe something else, yes, you can choose any other hobby that is not stated here. Your friend is asking you, what should I do? So you need to give your friend an advice on what he should do, and then let me know what you think. Here you need to give opinion. That's the reason why you need to underline keywords, because you need to know you have to make a choice. Give your opinion on the, give your reason for the choice, and then explain your opinion. And you have to write about 80 words giving advice. So once you have done this, then the 7th question. Tapirla is an acronym. Okay, and I'll tell you how it helps you to get your marks and in which part it gets your mark when we go to how we are going to mark it. All right. So the first one is the 7 questions for all essays. As you can see, I've stated here for all essays. It doesn't matter you're from 1, from 2, from 3, from 4, from 5. It works for all essays. All right. So what do I need to write? T, the type of essay that you need to write. Now it looks so simple. Once you go higher level, you got a lot of essay types. Right now you hear it's only message, right? So you're going to write a message. Okay, a message is not an email, it's just a message. And then who is my audience? The audience is the person who's going to read your message. Who is going to read your message? Not the examiner, not your teacher, because when you're writing the answer, the message is for Alex. Who is Alex? Alex is your friend. That has importance, because if you say you're writing for a teacher, then later the R in Tapirla would have a different answer. Okay, now what is the purpose or the reason for you to write this message? You need to know the purpose. Why are you writing this message? Because you want to suggest a hobby to Alex. All right, you want to suggest and then you want to give your opinion. All right. What information must I include? I. So tapir, T, type, A, audience, P, purpose, I, information. The information that you need to include will help you later to get marks. So you need to write what is the hobby that you want Alex to do, what is the reason you want Alex to do the hobby, and then give your opinion at the end of it. All right. And then what is the appropriate register? Now that is why R is register, like I said, has importance. Who is the audience? The audience is Alex. Alex is your friend. There are only two types of register. Now, register here is not your school register to write your name. This register here is the type of language you need to use. For Form 1, 2, and 3, you only have two types of register, which is formal or informal. To a friend, it is informal. All right, so you write using informal language to your friend. How does an informal language looks like? I will show you the example later, how an informal language looks like. If you put your audience here, teacher, then here your teacher will always be formal. You cannot write your teacher in an informal language. It's always formal. Okay, right. So what suitable linkers or sequence connectors can be used, or you can use cohesive devices. Now, because this is simple 80 words, a simple essay, you should use basic one like and, however, therefore, also, then simple one. All right, the fanboy that your teacher has been teaching you, you can use that. All right, and then what suitable words can be used? Here we are looking at spelling, punctuation, vocabulary, and one more, sentence structure. Okay, it must be accurate. How accurate is your spelling? How accurate is your punctuation? Now, I want to remind all of you young pupils out there, I know you are a social media person who are always on the internet, on your phone. The result of you always texting your friend, just like I see here on the chat box, some of you, the way you write. Okay, this is your way to write, but in an essay, you cannot use short form. You must use capital letters. After a full stop at the beginning of a sentence, you must have full stop. Your I, when you're talking about yourself, must be capital letter. When you're talking to your friend, you, you must use you, not just letter U. Since you are also used to writing a lot of text, and you are, how to say, becomes a habit, that habit has transferred in your essay. When it transfers in your essay, you lose marks when it comes to accuracy here, because your spelling and punctuation becomes a problem, and therefore you don't get high marks. I know you always say that, teacher, I know when it's essay, I will always make sure I write in full. I've seen this, when exam time, you are under stress. When you're under stress, you write so fast, you forget to edit, you forget to check, and once it's a habit, it transfers in your essay, and I'm sure many of your teachers who are listening would agree with me. So something for you to think carefully when you are writing, to make sure spelling and punctuation is the way it should be, not how you always do in your text to your friend. Okay? All right. So you write your message. So very easy. Hi, Alex. Why don't you try cooking? Now, okay. If you can see, I straight away say, hi, Alex, why don't you try cooking? Because when Alex wrote to me the message, she said, hi, I'm thinking of starting a new hobby. Alex didn't ask you, hi, are you okay? Are you fine? How are you? I hope you're doing well. Alex didn't ask you that. Therefore, when you write your message, it's a message. Please do not ask Alex whether he's okay. Just ask, hi, Alex, straight point. Because he asked you, I am thinking of starting a new hobby. So straight away, you can answer him, hi, Alex, why don't you try cooking? Hi, Alex is already informal register. Why don't you try cooking? Don't. Asking a question is informal. Because when you're writing to your friend, you can ask this question, but you cannot write like this to your teacher. All right. I know you're an amazing, again, you are. You can use contraction for informal. An amazing chef yourself. Those food that you have cooked for me are amazing in both looks and taste. You could be the next Gordon Ramsay. Furthermore, cooking is quite beneficial to acquire some living skill people and make it a career. Therefore, I find cooking would be the best hobby for you and hope you do too. Here should be a question. All the best. Bye. All right. Actually, it should be like, why don't you think so? Don't you think so? All right, so from Ali. Now you can put from whoever, because in the question they didn't write hi Ali or hi Abu, just hi, right? Because that's a good exam question. A good exam question would not say hi and then got a name like hi Harshini, won't have, because then you have to act as though you're Harshini. They'll just put hi because they don't know who you are. But if the question has hi and a name, then you have to take the name and put from that name that has been stated. That is something you need to look at, all right? Okay. So you have read the message to check your answer. Use the 7 questions. You check. Did I write a message? Yes, I wrote a message to Alex. Good. Did I write to Alex? Yeah, I put hi Alex. Good. All right. What's the purpose? To suggest a hobby. Did I suggest a hobby? Yes, I asked him to try cooking. All right. And what information must I include? The hobby, cooking. The reason is because I know that Alex is an amazing chef and the food he cooks is amazing, and my opinion is he can be the next Gordon Ramsay, and cooking is beneficial because it has benefits of a living skill for people can make it a career. So I've given the hobby, I've given the reason, I've given my opinion. I've done all that. Okay, good. So what is the register? Informal. How do I know? I have explained to you. Hi, why don't you try cooking? Okay, and then buy, the word buy and exclamation mark is another feature of informal register. So I have that to show that I'm talking to a friend. Linkers that I've used, and furthermore, such as, therefore, to. Good, I have all that, right? And then the suitable words I've used. Yes, I've used a lot of different vocabulary. I didn't repeat words, okay? And my spelling is correct. My punctuation is correct, okay? And sentence structure is fine, okay? So I have all that checked, done. So now I'm going to tell you why the Taperila formula is important. Number 1, content 5 marks. I'm looking at purpose and information. The purpose is to suggest a spot. Did I suggest a spot? Yes. Have I fulfilled the task? And I have the information of suggesting a spot, information on why I asked him, the reason, and my opinion. Once I have all that, I will get 5 marks. I'm not looking at the others. I'm looking only at purpose and information. Communicative achievement. This is when your teacher put C, C, A, O, and L, right? So communicative achievement, I'm looking at the text. Where is your format? It's a message. Does it look like a message? Am I writing to Alex? Does it sound? Register. Does it sound like I'm talking to a friend, writing to a friend? And the purpose of suggesting a spot is there. Does it sound like a suggestion? Or am I telling him what to do? No, right? I'm giving him suggestion. So the T, A, P, and R for communicative achievement to get 5 marks. Okay? So correct genre. Genre is a message. The register, the tone. The tone of writing to a friend has something to do with register. Appropriateness of the language. Okay? Organization. I'm looking at L and A. Linkers and accuracy of punctuation. Punctuation accuracy marks would be in organization. And the linkers that I use, how the text is put together, how the ideas are linked, the use of punctuation, do I have it? Did I forget my full stop? Did I forget my capital letter? Did I forget my question mark? All right, so how are the ideas linked? It's under L and A. And language, I'm only looking at A, accuracy of spelling, vocabulary, spelling, grammar, sentence structure. How accurate are they? I'm looking at accuracy for all this. Do you have, if you do one spelling error, right, doesn't mean you won't get 5 marks. Okay, because we allow some errors, but if you have the same words that you spelled wrongly, and the same vocabulary you're using over and over again because you show that you don't have much vocabulary, that you won't get 5 marks. But usually for part 1, all of you should be able to get 20 out of 20. Should be. Okay, let me show you how we assess the essay. Content 5 marks. Why? Is in yellow. I said cooking. All right. I give the reason. Those food that you have cooked for me are amazing. And then I also give my opinion. So I gave content 5 because I'm fully informed. As a person who's reading, I know why I should choose cooking because you have informed me all this. So you get 5 marks. Communicative achievement, I'm looking at the tone. You got high. Why don't you try? This one are all telling me by. Don't you think so too? This kind of example tells me that you are writing in an informal register. It sounds like you're writing to a friend. Okay, everything is well, in friendly, doesn't show rudeness or whatever. Okay, appropriateness of language is there. Organization is 5 because I use furthermore, therefore, to, and. Okay, those. These are all showing me that I didn't use the same word. For example, some of you like to use and then, then, after that, you're repeating your linkers. Shows that you do not know how to use other linkers. Language, also 5 marks because you use the word like beneficial, acquire, benefits, taste, chef, make it a career, acquire, good language, different types of words used, right? So 5 marks. Don't worry so much of part 1 because most of you can get 20 out of 20. All right, so remember you can get good marks for organization when you use connectors like and, or, but. So because first of all, finally, this one would be the low level ones. And then you have, for examples, in conclusion, however, moreover, subsequently, furthermore, in other words, as a result, for that matter, in addition. You got so many more. Okay, so try to use as many different ones, but please know what it means. Because if you use wrongly, it doesn't help either. Okay, that is part 1. Part 2, same strategy, but it becomes hard. The marking is different. Okay, marking is different. You still read the instruction, you read the stimulus, you underline the keywords. Again, you use Taperla because remember it's for all essays. And then you write your essay and then you check and make sure that you have answered all the 7 questions in step 4 to guide you and edit if you have time. Just a reminder, Form 1, you only write between 70 to 90 words. Form 2, 80 to 100 words. Form 3, 100 to 120 words. There are differences. Okay, and I'm going to show you the Form 3 one. Now, I'm going to say Form 1, you will only have 3 bubbles here. Form 2, you have 4. Form 3, you have 5. So just use the point given to you. If you got 3, just use 3 points. If you have 4, just use 4 points. If you are Form 3, you have 5, then use all the points given. Okay, so in your class, you have been talking about celebrations. Always the essay will start that way. In your class, you have been talking about something, the topic. All right, and then here's because it's Form 3 in about 100 to 120 words. Actually, it's supposed to be in about 100 to 120 words. Form 1 will be in about 70 to 90 words. Write an essay about whatever the topic. All right, in about 80 to 100 words. That's for Form 3. And Form 2, write an essay about what? And then in about 100 to 120 words, use this. Okay, so you have that for the difference of Form 1, 2, and 3, but the way to write it is the same. So you read the instruction and the stimulus. This is stimulus given to you. A celebration you enjoy, why you celebrate it, how you feel, who you celebrate with, what you do, and where you go. I took this from the old PT3 paper. That's why I have to cover 1 because in the old one they have 6. But now it's changed to 3, 4, and 5. Okay? 3 points, 4 points, and 5 points. Now underline the keywords. So you talk about celebration, 100 to 120 words, depending on how many words, what form you are. Write an essay about a celebration you enjoy. So any celebration can be accepted. why you have that celebration, how you feel, who you celebrate it, what you do or where you go. These are questions to guide you to write your essay. All right, so you answer the 7 questions. So text, what text do you need to write? What type of text you need to write? You have to write an essay. Part 2 is always an essay. Even when you go to Form 4, Form 5 is the same. Who is an audience? Who's my audience who's going to read this? This is when your teacher and your peers would read it. Okay, so essay is not informal. That I want you to remember. What is the purpose of me writing? I am going to discuss a celebration I enjoyed. Okay, how much I enjoyed the celebration. What celebration that I enjoyed? I'm going to talk about it. It can be a birthday celebration. It can be a graduation celebration. Okay, it can be a celebration of achievement, something, all right, that you got number 1 in class, whatever celebration. What information must I include? This is very important. If you got 3 points for Form 1, you must include the 3 points there. If you got 4, must have 4. If you have 5, like Form 3, then you have to say what celebration, the name of the celebration you have to give, right? Why I celebrate it. See, I changed the pronoun from you to I, so that when I write, I talk about myself. I don't follow here. You celebrate, copy the question and write you celebrate. It's wrong already, you won't get marks. So why I celebrate, how I feel, who I celebrate is, what I did and where I went, because I followed here. So these are the things I need to fill in. Now, when you are doing the essay, I'm not asking you to write like this. You can put at the side essay, teacher, class, right? You can put teacher, peers, discuss, and then you can put here point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4, point 5, name of celebration. Okay, you can write it in your exam paper. You don't have to write in this form. This is just to show you in a more organized manner, but you can write whatever information from these 7 questions anywhere in your exam paper. Okay. What is the appropriate register? I already told you it must be formal because it's an essay. All right, now what suitable linkers? I know number 6 got extra one thing, which is how many paragraphs. The minimum you should write is 3, but you can go 4, 5 paragraphs depending on you. Okay, I'm just giving the minimum. You use better linkers here. Please don't use the simple one anymore because you're doing part 2. Try to use better cohesive devices. All right, what suitable words? Again, we are looking at spelling, punctuation, vocabulary, and sentence structure. Okay. Now, write your essay. This is an example. In my class, there are errors here. Okay. This is not a perfect essay. I has been talking about celebration that I feel enjoying. Last few weeks, I celebrate my classmate John's birthday with other classmates. His birthday is on 1st of October. We celebrated together on the class. That day, I and some classmates busy to prepare the food, drinks, cake, and all that. We also prepare gift for him and we play some games together happily. After we prepared all the things, we ready to start. As we were singing birthday song to him, he felt surprised and shocked. Then we gave him his birthday present one by one. Then it's not a full stop, it's a comma. After that, comma again, we ate happily together and played some games together. He wrote 3 paragraphs. One more paragraph. After finishing the celebration, everyone felt very joy, and we went home happily on that day. I know some of you like this. I'm going to show you how you're going to get the marks. Now, you don't have to count the number of words. Please don't waste your time counting the number of words. You should spend 45 minutes on this essay. The first one, 15. This one, 45 minutes. All right, so when you write 45 minutes, please don't waste your time counting because you will be able to write between 70 to 90, 80 to 100, or 100 to 120. If you write more than 120, don't worry, nobody's going to scold you, but it makes you have, you will commit more errors as you write unless you're very good in the language. All right, and you only have 45 minutes. I don't think you have a lot of time to write very long. Okay. So you look at the 7 questions. Do I write an essay? Does it look like an essay? First of all, there's no contractions. There's no hi, no bye, no question asking. So it is a formal, an essay. All right, please don't use the way you write a message in an essay. An essay should be this form, okay, where you don't use contraction, that means short forms. You don't ask question. It's like boring, something boring. Just write facts, information, that's it. Okay, so you wrote an essay. Did you think it's suitable for a teacher and peers? Yes, your teachers and peers will read this, no problem. I discussed a celebration I enjoyed, yes, which was John's birthday. All right, I wrote what celebration, John's birthday, why I celebrate it. Okay, the what celebration, John's birthday, celebrate, why celebrate, to celebrate his birthday, how I feel happy, who I celebrate with, classmates, what I did and where I went, everything explained there. So it's all there. Okay. What is the appropriate? Formal. Yes, it is formal language. Suitable linkers, he used 4 paragraphs, but he used and, that, day, as, then, and after. All right. And then he has a lot of errors, as you can see. So I didn't put a tick for number 6 and number 7. I'll show you the assessment. All right. Now, again, you are looking at have you fulfilled the task? P and I, you're looking, I'm just repeating, communicative achievement, whether the correct genre is used, register is used, the tone and appropriateness of language, organization, the linkers and accuracy of punctuation. All right, and then A for accuracy of your vocabulary, spelling, grammar, sentence structure, how accurate are they? Okay, now please remember this is my assessment. Other teachers look at it, might give a different mark because sometimes our marks difference in 1 or 2 marks only. Don't worry too much because we look at things differently. So the 4, content, I give 5 because even though this person has written with a lot of mistakes, but he explained that he celebrate John's birthday with other classmates. He explained that they were in the class, what they did, everything was there. But I know he has language problem. But content is there because I fully inform what celebration has happened, what happened on that day is clearly there. Communicative achievement, I gave 3 because of the way it's written. The appropriateness is not really there. A lot of things that play in hand, I gave 3. Okay. And then organization, the reason I give 1 mark because he used last few weeks, that day, and also after, as, then, after that, after. You want to get 3, you must use like therefore, however, furthermore to get 3. Okay, but he used all the simple one, therefore he got 1. All right. Language, I gave 3 because of the spelling errors. And remember, when you talk about classmates and I, it should be that day, some classmates and I. Yourself should always come second when you're talking about 2 or more people. Okay, then here I have been talking. All right, some classmates were busy preparing food, drinks, cakes, and all that is also wrong. We also prepared a gift spelling for him and we played some games together. This is also wrong. Happily. After we prepared all the thing now, this is something that all of you like to use. You all like to use the word thing. This thing, that thing. When you talk about it's an important thing. You have to stop using the word thing because you do not hold the food, all right, or the essentials. These are things that shows that you have the vocabulary. If you're talking about phone, then you talk about gadgets. You're talking about device. So don't always use words like thing. Everything is nice. You also nothing, it was nice, it was amazing, it was fantastic, it was awesome. Different words. Okay? As we were singing birthdays, we were singing the birthday song because it's only one birthday song to he felt the spelling surprised and shocked. Then we gave him his birthday present one by one. After that, we ate happily together and played some games together. You see the word together, 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 a lot of words together. After finishing the celebration, everyone, after the celebration, we we enjoyed, we had a great time and we went home happily on that day. All right. Okay. So this remembering this one is just a reinforcement to remind you to use good connectors to show that you can get higher marks. Okay. Now essay, it's one of the most difficult for you, but it's easy to score if you follow the formula that I've given you. All right. Now, do you have any questions you want to ask? Please ask. Any two ideas that you want to share with your friends that you have learned today? That is something new. Silence is golden. Anything or true new information you have learned, you can share on the chat box. No, nothing. I hope that I have helped all of you to have more confidence in answering your ujian akhir sesi academic for English language, whether you are Form 1, Form 2 or Form 3. And all these language skills that I have shared with you, whether for reading and writing, you can use it no matter what form you are in. It helps you because language strategies are the same regardless of age. It's only the text becomes harder. That's only the difference. Other than that, it's the same. No. If I have no question, I'll wait a few more seconds. If you have no more question to ask, I hope I've helped all of you. I know it has been a long session. I started at 2:30, it's 2 hours, 4:30. I hope that I've helped all of you some ways so that you are now more confident in doing. Thank you, Jamia. It's so much. I appreciate your comment. Thank you. Oops. All right. That's all. So if that's all, I'm going to end my session. All right. I'm going to have another session on Monday and Tuesday specifically for Form 5. So if you have anybody in Form 5 who wants to listen to each of the different skills, please come again Form 5 for Monday and Tuesday. You can see it on my side. All right. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. So much pleasure. Hi, Eugene. At last, I see you here, Eugene. Thank you. Right. Okay. Thank you for coming. Right. Bye, everyone.